Arnoux 4e position, Armstrong 5e, Perini 6e, attaque de Perini du fond, pris en charge aussitôt par Lance Armstrong. Arnoux en dernière position, Arnoux qui va tenter de se dégager peut-être par la droite. Stephen Roche qui mène toujours et qui semble avoir fait peut-être fi de ses chances de victoire. Arnoux du fond peut-être, Arnoux qui va tenter de partir du fond. Voilà, c'est parti pour Arnoux, non, pas encore. Arnoux va déboîter à droite de la route, voilà, c'est fait. Arnoux qui tente de partir à droite de la route. On l'a vu partir de loin, c'est un peu téléphoné. Il faut y aller à la force, attention, il y a encore un virage. Nous sommes à 300 mètres de la ligne d'arrivée. Lance Armstrong complètement à gauche. C'est Renan Pinsec le plus rapide pour l'instant. Renan Pinsec comme au Grand Prix de Fouet. Renan Pinsec qui est le meilleur, qui est le plus fort. Attention, Armstrong sur sa gauche. Armstrong, Pinsec, attention. C'est une victoire pour l'Américain. Lance Armstrong. Oui, Armstrong, Galcala, Pinsec.
This American is going to do something that has only been done by the great Greg LeMond way back in 1983. Greg became champion of the world, and now again in 1989 Greg won the championship, but we're going to get another American. He's looking back now, he's so elated. What a classic ride. Oh, come on, look at this. This is, they say he's a bit of a show-off and a big head. Well, who can say that he hasn't earned it? He hasn't earned it. Yes, he has. He has earned the gold medal the hard way. He's been riding them for the best in the world. Not more than perhaps 50 will finish this race, but nearly 200 started off. He cannot believe it. Champion of the world in his first full year as a professional. He turned pro only this time last year, and in somewhat 14 months he has now made a name for himself by taking the gold medal. Lance Armstrong of America, the Texan, is champion of the world. Mazzeo fighting for second place, alongside him Chamil as well, but Chamil going past him. In fact, it is Indurain then going for the silver medal. Indurain for silver, and on the alongside him it's still punchy on the line, but no, it looked to me as if Indurain got the silver just ahead of Ludwig, and disappointment written all over the place.
Dedication to the memory of Fabio Casatelli.
We're on the climb here of the Côte de Villeneuve, and Armstrong is going clear. Now we've just received a time check that the bunch is 5 minutes behind containing Indurain. So Armstrong knows now that the race will be decided from this front group, and he's trying to force that decision even to a finer result. And Lance Armstrong now is not just winning for himself or the team, he's also winning for Fabio Casatelli. Run, and now he's going very early from the line. He's around 280, 300 metres still to go, and he must be feeling confident to go that far out. But De La Santa is cooked, and Lance Armstrong has already won this. He's won it, and he's won it cleanly with a timed gap at the finishing line. The United States. Let's finish. Armstrong gets the win and takes the luxury of a look back to see how good it feels.
Puis Didier Rousse reprend les devants avant d'attaquer la partie la plus difficile du mur de 8 avec ses passages à 20% avec ce petit gauche-droite. Là on se dit, ah ça sent pas mauvais pour Didier Rousse, et là vous voyez que le 251 de Lance Armstrong, il l'accélère dans cette ligne droite avec ses forts pourcentages. Didier Rousse est assis, il ne peut pas réagir à l'attaque de Lance Armstrong. Ainsi, Lance Armstrong va devenir le premier américain à remporter la Flèche Wallonne. Didier Rousse, lui, va prendre une belle deuxième place. C'est une surprise pour lui, on ne s'attendait pas à une performance de cet acabit.
What a comeback this could be. There's only 2 men behind him now. Armstrong is the leader and will have to wait. 8.2.5. That is astonishing.
Could have believed that before.
That felt good.
He would relinquish the yellow jersey almost immediately, but this newfound time trial specialist would win it back a week later.
Is there no end to this rider this year, because Armstrong just can do absolutely nothing wrong.
And now he's coming up to the line, and look at that, he's almost a minute faster on the finish line as well.
Well, we are going to see a second stage win here, and the second time trial win for Lance Armstrong, and it could well be a yellow jersey as well.
Armstrong had quickly established himself as not only a devastating time trialist, but as an ace climber too.
1 kilometre, he's ripped across that gap, and he's riding a superb race now.
This charge across the peaks towards Sestriere would enter Tour legend. It was a powerful display and a dagger into the heart of his challengers. It was indeed reminiscent of the great feats of the cannibal, Eddie Merckx, 30 years before.
He was just ridden across like they were standing still.
He's won both time trials. He's now heading up to a likely victory here at Sestriere. If you can win the time trials and you win the mountains, well, there's not much left but to win the Tour de France.
Much of the time, anger drove him on. When he needed to, he reminded himself of how his contract with Cofidis had been renegotiated as he lay recuperating from his chemotherapy.
Lance Armstrong looks to the sky, no doubt in memory of him.
But the best times so far are being set by Rick Verbrugge, but this, Phil, I have to say, is unbelievable. Armstrong has caught his 3-minute man and gone straight by.
If Armstrong wants to join names like Eno, Merckx and Indurain as having won all of the time trials of a Tour de France, look at the clock. Zuller is 1:8:26. There's still a ways to go here. This is going to be very close. Armstrong was clearly ahead earlier. Now he's not. Armstrong doesn't know it, but he needs to sprint to get the victory. As the clock counts on, he makes it ever so close, but he makes it, and 1:8:17.
Lance Armstrong's post-cancer body weight meant that he was a match in the mountains for even the finest climbers, among them Marco Pantani. On the Hautacam, the gauntlet was well and truly thrown down by the American for the Italian to try and pick up.
Pantani getting out of the saddle, going back into the saddle, trying to find a little bit more strength, and he's popped.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day when Lance Armstrong would blow away the man we've always referred to as the finest climber we've ever seen in the current peloton of cycling, but he started it and Armstrong has finished it, and now Lance Armstrong has written off the riders on the climb of Hautacam and shaken the head there by little Marco Pantani. But Armstrong today has destroyed the field in the Tour de France. The minutes are ticking off once he hits the line. A determined and ultimate impression of Lance Armstrong today as he comes up to the line, and look at that time gap, 10 minutes 35 at the bottom, 41 seconds at the top.
Pantani, also known as the Pirate for his headgear and behind his back as El Fantino on account of his ears, felt he'd been humiliated on the Hautacam. So when the Tour reached Provence, and in particular the Mont Ventoux, he felt that he had a point to prove.
Expected that. Ullrich has done nothing about it at all. He saw the speed and the acceleration of Lance Armstrong, and he's gone off after Pantani and Botero, and they've got nothing left.
Well, look at that. Ullrich could not respond. He must have heard that attack coming. He must have felt it go by. He looks at the Colombian rider. How are you doing? Thank you very much. Goodbye. I'm now going to chase after the pirate. He's chasing just one man on the road, the man who's in the pink jersey of Mercatoni Uno, and there he is, just there.
Well, this is an incredible demonstration of the sort I don't think I've ever seen in the Tour de France, because Armstrong is toying with the top names of the cycling world. He left them and they knew he was going because they couldn't even raise the pedal length. Now he's sprinted straight past Santiago Botero and he's coming up to Pantani. And what will the Pirate do when this man gets on board? Here, as we start to approach the line now, Pantani grits his teeth and accelerates and over the line. Pantani wins this.
Afterwards, Armstrong claimed he gave the stage to Pantani, later calling him by his less complimentary nickname. Understandably, Pantani was furious, and their battle continued into the Alps.
Where is Pascal Hervé? That wasn't an attack by Armstrong, that was just a mere acceleration. He's proving that he is the strongest bike rider on all terrains, and at the moment he's proving that he is one of the greatest climbers in the world of cycling.
Pantani had at last been beaten finally and decisively on his home ground of the mountains. He would never be the same rider again until his tragic death in 2004. The battles against Pantani had taken a lot out of Armstrong, more perhaps than he was going to admit to the peloton, and not for the last time he would need all of his time-trialling skills to keep contenders like Ullrich at bay.
And look at this, he's gone through 5 seconds ahead of Ullrich and 47 ahead of Moreau. This is a head-to-head battle now. This will confirm him as winner of the Tour de France as well, and as winner of a stage of the time trial this year. Armstrong rocks and rolls his way home here now as he comes up to the line. His time is 1:50. There's a touch of wheels. 2 riders are down here on the floor. One of them is Van der Velde, I think. The right-hand side of the picture, I'm not sure the other one is Tyler Hamilton. but 2 riders are down.
It looked like Roberto Heras who went down now. That somebody's switched across there. Number 9 going down there is Van der Velde, the first man to go down. Right over the top of him there is Roberto Heras. That was a very hard crash for them.
Lance Armstrong here, what's he doing?
They're waiting. They've decided to wait for Van der Velde and Roberto Heras. They realise that Van der Velde is a big, strong man. They're going to wait for a few seconds. They'll lose 25 or 30 seconds with this manoeuvre, but they feel that it may well be important over the last 15 kilometres. Armstrong giving instructions, slow down, let's get back together. Let's get 9 men into this event. He's now proving not only is the leader of the team, he's the captain on the road. He's waiting for Van der Velde and Heras to come back into the group.
Look at the face of Armstrong there now as he drives this group to the line. The champion of the Tour de France these past 2 years. Grimaces, 1:23.10. I think he's going to be desperately close. We may have a new best time despite all of the problems of the postal boy. Armstrong bringing his team home to the line as he comes up to the line. New best time, 1:22.58.
Not only was Armstrong proving himself as a team leader and tactician, but he also demonstrated in the mountains clever use of kidology, what Muhammad Ali used to call rope-a-dope, fooling your opponents that you're hurt, then performing the coup de grace.
I don't believe I'm seeing this. Armstrong has been at the back for the whole day, and Ullrich is in difficulty now.
Well, I don't think Ullrich believes it either. Armstrong has given everybody, and maybe that was the plan, to give everybody the impression he was in trouble. And now Rubiera, who's looked after him all day, has put him at the front of Alpe d'Huez. A good reply there by Ullrich, and this is going to be a mano a mano now, and it's all happening before the climb has really started.
Armstrong now, for the first time today, is looking comfortable. He's come into his terrain. Vinokourov, boom, he's out of the group right now. Telecom are losing their men one after the other. They are dropping like flies. This is where you have to race alone, and Armstrong's gone.
A big move by Lance this, and no reply coming at all from Jan Ullrich. Ullrich has got no answer to this acceleration by Lance Armstrong. So Armstrong has been holding everything under those legs till the last climb, and now he has launched the attack. He wants to win at Alpe d'Huez. We knew that. We were just not too sure he had it in him. He will thank Rubiera, who has completely sacrificed himself. He took a look straight into the eyes there of Jan Ullrich and said, well, here I go, are you coming or not? And the answer is not. Well, Armstrong has really showed everybody now he is once again, for the 3rd year in succession, the man to beat in the Tour de France. And again, so early in the event, he has used his enormous strength to destroy the morale of those who are close to him.
The psychological dominance that had destroyed the challenge of Pantani a year before was now being brought to bear on Jan Ullrich.
And it looks as though Lance Armstrong is about to give us a demonstration of power here. He's moved over Ullrich. He sensed that Ullrich perhaps was cracking. He's gone to the front, and he's doing some of the pacemaking now. There's the face of Ullrich, not looking as good as he was at the start of the climb. But I think Jan, he's now going to have to hang on to Lance Armstrong or lose more time.
Great day for Jaja. He will be picking up maximum points all out on the course, on the descent. Oh, there's a risk there. Somebody's gone off. That was amazing. Ullrich's gone down. Ullrich has gone over the edge. Unbelievable. He was taking risks, trying to damage Armstrong, but he's okay. He's up. He's climbing up there. Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. He took huge risks around there. Unfortunately, Livingston has stopped and waited for him. This is remarkable. He wanted to blow Armstrong away on the descent. We'll have a look at that one more time. He was going straight into that corner, going much too fast. Armstrong was following him, saw that the German had gone the wrong way into the corner. He's fine. You can see he controlled it. He just went over the top of the bars. That was an excellent roll. I tell you one thing, the man is an absolute acrobat. Now he will find that Armstrong is on his own. I would expect Armstrong to wait because there's still an awful long way to go to the finishing line, and he needs to do that right now because he doesn't want to try and take advantage of that accident by Ullrich.
Armstrong did wait for Ullrich, obeying an unwritten rule of the peloton, but once parity had been restored, Lance raised himself out of the saddle and danced on the pedals once more.
And when he goes, Paul, we wonder, because this man just opens a gap and makes Ullrich look like a club cyclist.
In a final gesture of sportsmanship, Armstrong let Ullrich take a time bonus on one of the final mountain stages, which meant that by the time Paris came around, Ullrich maintained his record of never finishing lower than second in the Tour. It was in La Mongie in the Pyrenees where Armstrong first got his hands on the maillot jaune.
Would have given this stage to Heras if only the other man wasn't there.
He would love to give this victory to Roberto Heras, but that's not the scenario. Obviously, Yoshiba Belocchi didn't read the script at the start of the day, and this is the move by Armstrong. He's going for the win.
Well, he's dug deep. He looks over his shoulder. There's really not a strong enough reaction from Belocchi. Belocchi is desperate here, but what a good fight he has put up. But now it's everything he's got unleashed in those legs, and this is now his 13th stage win in a Tour de France, more than any other current cyclist on the circuit. Armstrong wins the day, claims again another first on the first day in the mountains, and waiting for him the Golden Fleece. He's the new leader of the Tour.
The team were riding well together, but what about Armstrong himself? There were doubts in the peloton about his form. He was about to be tested to his very limits.
Hamilton hanging on to the coattail of Armstrong as he continues with his broken collarbone. If he jumps out of the saddle, you'll see his face wince with pain. The doctors take him away at night, they examine him and tell him if he is doing any long-term damage. And he comes out of those examinations smiling.
Comes out of his examination smiling. He's got a joke for everybody. He's raised the morale of the team. I cannot believe the way he's sitting here on the shoulder of Lance Armstrong. And if you get a glimpse at his jersey there, which is open to try and keep him cool, he's got a bandage right across his broken clavicle, which is quite remarkable. The race now is made up of 4 riders. It's all together. Oh, Hamilton's gone.
Hamilton has gone this time. He's attacking Lance Armstrong. It hasn't worked. Armstrong's reacted. Belocchi also going. Once you have one attack, you have another. We've never seen a climb like this before.
We've never seen anybody attacking the leader quite as repetitive as this.
They believe he's vulnerable. They actually believe Armstrong can be beaten.
The only way he can be beaten is if several riders attack him consistently over and over again. And that's what they've decided to do. That's what the big leaders of the Tour de France say that they will do to try and dislodge Armstrong from the top. You don't catch him out like that, though.
The riders around him as somebody is going to... That's Vinokurov, I think. Alexander Vinokurov has had a move from the front. You see, they're sensing there is a chance to beat Armstrong.
They are going at him like an automatic rifle. It's bang, bang, bang. As soon as they feel they're slowing down, somebody else goes off the front end of the main group here. Jan Ullrich has ridden an unbelievable race here, Phil. He's trying to ride himself back up to the wheel of Lance Armstrong. Well, this is remarkable. The man at the front of the race, Iban Mayo, now has a 1-minute 45-second advantage over Alexander Vinokurov, who's almost a minute in front of Lance Armstrong. He started the day a minute 58 behind Armstrong. Armstrong's going to have to turn the gas up over the last 2 Ks.
Hamilton tried, just nudged a little then. Armstrong was on him straight away. Look at the face here. Jan Ullrich has never finished worse than second. Here goes Belocchi. Another desperate move. Armstrong not a sign on his face of any effort. He's out of the saddle and he's straight onto the slipstream of Belocchi.
Hamilton's gone. Hamilton's been put in difficulty this time by that acceleration, but he's been brave. He's attacked.
But the Spanish will enjoy this moment, and in particularly those who come from the Basque country. They love their sport of cycling. This man now is an absolute hero back home. Then Armstrong is determined now to take the 3rd place, and this is for the yellow jersey as well. He may have been beaten on the climb, but he will be the leader of the Tour de France. The American, and that's a matter of honour, I think, has taken 3rd place at about 2 minutes and 13 seconds.
The duel in the mountains between Lance Armstrong and last year's second-place rider Yoshiba Belocchi was looking like it was going to be the story of the second week. But matters would take an unexpected turn for the worse for one of those riders on a final descent into gap.
He's only leading by 10 seconds. The difficult thing on a day like this is, in fact, the toe, and Belocchi's gone down. Armstrong's off the road as well. Armstrong complete control there. He's into the field, but what a great bike rider. He's gone across. This is unbelievable. I've never seen this before. Armstrong went across the field there. He's back on the road at 4 kilometers to go. What great reflexes from the man from Texas. Tyler Hamilton coming along there, touching him on the shoulder. This is unbelievable.
Yoshiba Belocchi's hopes of winning the 2003 Tour de France would end here on the roads of the 9th stage on the road into Gap. Nobody could take anything away from the victory of Alexander Vinokurov. For the Texan, this was probably the most important time trial of his whole career to date.
This is the big finish now of Jan Ullrich, and now have we got a man who can take on Lance Armstrong in the Pyrenees? He's certainly done it in the time trial. This is an absolutely incredible ride. We have ridden 47 kilometres, almost 30 miles, and over terrain that you really wouldn't ride without getting out of the saddle, and this man is going to break the hour. Jan Ullrich comes to the line inside 1 hour for 47 kilometres. Look at his face. This has been a special day out for Jan Ullrich. He's won 4 time trial stages of the Tour de France in his career. This could be his 5th. Ullrich drives up the straight here now. He's going to beat the hour, 58:32.92. Now, Lance, it's all up to you.
Good ride here is Armstrong right now. He was on the tailcoats of Iban Mayo. He's accelerated towards the finishing line. He's not going to beat Jan Ullrich. Look at the time, 58:32. Armstrong is well outside of that. But you know what, Phil? This is not a man who is weak. This is not a man who is giving up, but he's actually fighting to keep himself in the yellow jersey. He will do that without too much of a problem. But Jan Ullrich is going to be within 1 minute of Lance Armstrong in the overall classification tonight.
But nobody has broken the hour except Jan Ullrich for the ride today. Armstrong has made a race of this. It's been a huge struggle for him. 1 hour and 8 seconds as Lance Armstrong crosses the line. He will keep his leader's yellow jersey, but he is yet again reminded he is in
4th place in the line, and the gap is opening. Armstrong has been put into difficulty there. He's lost the wheel of Ullrich. Ullrich has closed the gap to Vinokourov. Armstrong is having a terrible day.
Well, you say it is a terrible day, but it is a great day because he is holding on. Now Ullrich has taken over, and there's a huge cheer gone up here when they've seen Jan Ullrich attack in the finishing zone, and Lance Armstrong is in trouble. He wants that wheel of Ivan Basso. He needs that wheel of Basso. Armstrong in the last kilometres of the climb is now very much on the defensive. The yellow jersey is up for grabs. There is a vacancy for the leader of the Tour de France. Armstrong is on the defensive. Jan Ullrich needs 34 seconds. Vinokourov needs 51. Less if they get in the first 3 because of the bonuses. This is unbelievable. Here comes, he digs deep now. Ullrich kicks again. The big man from Germany is looking for a bonus now of 12 seconds. Then we wait to see if 22 more tick by. If they do, we have a 6th leader of this year's Tour de France, and the record, by the way, stands at 8. Here comes Jan Ullrich to the line now. A final kick of determination has destroyed Belzebeldia. Don't worry, the camera makes him look closer than he really is. As now Jan Ullrich comes to the line, and then the clock will start. Ullrich is 2nd, Zubeldia gets a 3rd, and now Lance Armstrong, you are brilliant. That is a recovery for you. He saves the day. As he makes his move, and look who goes, Armstrong, and look who follows, Jan Ullrich, but not as sprightly.
Not as sprightly. The big thing about Armstrong, he has the acceleration. When he wants to go on the climb, he can do it. He has now decided, I want to go. You can see the yellow jersey is opening up a slight advantage. Mayo now has to dig deep. Ullrich has got the big gear going. He's coming up to the wheel of the Basque rider, but Armstrong wants to go right now.
Armstrong was waiting for somebody to pull in the flag, and now it was even... What's happened here? What has happened there? It seemed quite a normal corner. He must have hit somebody in the audience. Mayo has gone. Now the situation. Remember the pair of sword when Ullrich crashed? Armstrong waited, but let's have a look at this now. It still is unclear here exactly what happened.
Can he recover? He's on his same bicycle. His teammate is there right now. He's changed up onto the gear to try and get himself. He's got a teammate there. There is Chechu Ribiera. Calm down. Don't panic, Lance. He's saying he's putting his hand down. To this, he's looking over his shoulders. He knows there's a possibility of winning the Tour de France right now, but he's not sure what's happening. There is Vinokourov in front. There is Iban Mayo. He's the man who went down with Armstrong as well.
What is going on?
There's a problem with his pedals. He has a problem with his pedals.
This is what happened. I think his pedal may have broken. This happened. He didn't hit anybody. Well, it was the problem with his pedals.
It was very strange to see that. He's looking down. He now knows he's got a serious problem. Watch this now.
Well, this is awful.
Digging deep, and his foot has just come out, and I don't believe how he's managed to keep it upright there. This man has been on the ground. He almost lost his manhood on the crossbars a few moments ago, and he's decided he wants to go.
But this is the man trying to write his name as equal only to Miguel Indurain with 5 straight wins in the Tour de France. He has gone a long way to doing that today, and he's done it in the most bizarre of circumstance, falling off when he was hooked up his bike by a spectator, and now he's gone away, and Ullrich slowed the group down to let him back in, so they started the climb again together, and then Armstrong went. The American flags are flying now, though. This is a matter of pride again for Armstrong. A massive round of applause. No victory salute from Lance Armstrong. It's who's going to get hold of me, because the clock has started. And fourth place for Jan Ullrich, and I make it about 42 seconds. 40-42, it's not official.
US Postal, though, were once more in awesome form. The blue train was well and truly rolling.
He's back where he's been for 5 years, the leader of the Tour de France.
In the yellow jersey, Hincapie enjoying the victory. Look at his face now, Lance coming to the front. That smile, it's
incredible.
As wide as the...
This is Tyler Hamilton here now, and he is in big trouble.
As soon as the race reached the mountains, there was an immediate shakeout among the contenders for Armstrong's yellow jersey. Several of the old guard were dropped unceremoniously.
The riders are being spread eagle, dropped from the group. We have seen Tyler Hamilton in trouble, Levi Leipheimer.
Look at this, Ullrich too. The Kaiser is starting to crack. He doesn't have the acceleration, Phil. He's a huge man on a bike. He uses a massive gear. He cannot respond to the accelerations of men like Armstrong's leaders.
Watch it, wait for it, because Armstrong's building here. Armstrong's realised that Ullrich is in trouble. He's getting round to grab onto the wheel of Acevedo, and once he's got him, we are being treated to the situation of 2 years ago when it was Roberto Heras that looked after Lance Armstrong to the line. He's checking over his shoulder to see...
Armstrong, however, had acquired himself a new shadow, one by the name of Ivan Basso.
Here he goes, he's building up for a move. As he's not seen Ullrich, he's not seen any of them. He thinks, well, I may as well go and try what happens.
Ivan Basso has responded immediately to get onto the wheel of Armstrong. Armstrong now has to assume complete control. He has no teammates left. He used them all over the flat part of this course before we got to the mountains. Ivan Basso, let's not forget this man has finished 5th overall in the Tour de France and been the best young rider as well. He leapt across to the wheel of Armstrong. Armstrong has not got the big gap that we've seen him get in recent years, but certainly that was a serious acceleration.
He would be looking for stage win number 17 if he gets it. Basso is giving him a long lead out. Armstrong hasn't done a thing about it. Basso gets the stage win. Armstrong gets the same time, a small second place bonus, and now it's mano a mano, Armstrong and Basso, as it was yesterday. And I don't think today Armstrong will allow Basso to win, which he never did yesterday. It just didn't matter so much. And this is it. Armstrong is waiting to the last moment. He's taken no chances here. He's driving to the line now. Armstrong with a Plateau de Baille like it was 2 years ago. And the Columbia yellow jersey waiting. Armstrong wins. The crowd are cheering all of the way. Basso crosses the line in second place. They could now be first and second in the Tour de France.
Armstrong is prepared. Look at that. He's on the large chain ring and he's got right across to the left-hand side. He's actually thinking about getting himself the win here. The other riders in the group are on the small chain ring. If this comes down to the acceleration, Armstrong is in the correct gear as we look at him.
Look at him pushing and blowing there. He wants to stay in his slipstream as long as he can, but he's got to watch Basso doesn't block him in, because now I think Jan Ullrich must go on the inside. He's having to follow Basso's wheel, and Armstrong's got to go. Armstrong has got to take on Ivan Basso. Ullrich is trying to break him as they go round the final bend, taking it wide. That will throw Ullrich off his pace. Lance Armstrong is going to take the stage. He had to do it. He holds on as we get the 1-2 in the Alps we had in the Pyrenees. Armstrong, yes. And in second place it was Ivan Basso. Third was Jan Ullrich.
Look at the counter-attack from Kloden now. They've got to respond.
No reaction. No reaction. The race just got won here by Andreas Kloden. It's all over as Kloden goes up to the line now. It's not going to be far to the finish. There is a time gap, but the man in yellow is running at him with that usual determination. Ullrich is in the slipstream. Armstrong is coming with an incredible rush, and Kloden has realised it too late. Is there any stopping Lance Armstrong in this Tour de France? And the answer is no, there is not. Lance is going to leave this Tour de France into retirement, having led his team to the fastest ever time trial in the history of the event. Here they come now.
Posties no more, but brilliant they certainly still were.
And this now, he sees the climb and he breaks away again. Can you believe that, with Alexander Vinokurov launching an attack just like that as he goes through Axleter? He's been on the back of that group for less than a kilometre and he's at it again.
It's Team Mobile who are on the front there, chasing him down. Andreas Kloden is setting the tempo behind Alexander Vinokourov. Phil, that is pathetic teamwork. They are looking at a man who I'm convinced now is going to change teams in the winter transfer season.
I wouldn't disagree, and in fact the rumour is he's going to ride for Lance Armstrong's team next year. Ullrich has cracked, he's gone, Ullrich has done it all, and he's just fallen back. This was his big effort, and it hasn't worked, he has dropped off.
But this is the big battle now for second and third place. Wearing number 1, Armstrong is putting time between himself and everybody else in the field here this afternoon, except Ivan Basso, the man who accompanied him last year.
Armstrong leading up, is he going to unleash one of his fearsome finishes, showing a banner, he goes for it. Basso's not going to take him. Lance Armstrong sprints away, and just look, he's going to get a time gap here. He'll be measured with a time gap as he drives to the line. Yellow is second, Lance Armstrong stays leader of the Tour de France, and tonight increases his advantage over everyone. Armstrong was unassailable in yellow. The final individual time trial was once again an opportunity to bang the final nails into the coffins of his challengers' ambitions and to leave the Tour on a victorious high.
It is the picture we will never see again. All of the following cars behind a rider in yellow we've come to know since 1999, the master of the race of truth. He brings it to an end as a winner. The first ever stage he has won this year, the first bike race he has won this year. Armstrong wins the time trial and wins the Tour de France.